Hello, my name is Christine Deal and welcome to NU 442, Section 64. This is just a little overview of the course and Canvas, for those of you who may be new to Canvas. So this all set up into modules or into certain sections, and so you've got several components to this course. And one is the service learning hours, which are 24 hours that you set up in the community. And we'll just go here to the service learning objectives and requirements. This tells you all the information you need to know about that, and the objectives and some tips to choosing a service learning site. And it's very important that as soon as you've identified the agency that you'll be completing your hours with, notify me, because I have to fill in an agency agreement to then email to you to take to your first meeting at your service learning site, because we need to have that okay on file. Okay, and then let's see, and then scan and upload the signed agreement. You'll have your service learning agency sign it, and then you'll scan and upload the signed agreement with your journal that you'll submit on a Sunday. It's roughly every other Sunday. If no one at the site is available to sign the agreement, request that it be given to an agency manager, and then obtain the name of the individual to whom it will be given, so we know exactly who you're going to be doing most of your hours with. Okay, and then the 24 hours, you just have to, from now until the end of the semester, there's a due date that's on the syllabus or the course outline, and so you've got a wide range of days to meet that 24 hours, but please do not wait until the end. We've had students that have scrambled to really get those hours in, and it just makes it more stressful for everyone, especially y'all. Each time you perform the service learning hours, we want you to reflect on your experience in your clinical activities journal. Okay, focus not only on what you did, because it's not a laundry list of, I did this, I did this, I did this, but how you felt about your activities, just a reflection on the learning, and it would be helpful to actually kind of look at the objectives for the service learning and reflect on how you may have met those objectives or steps that you have taken to meet those objectives. Okay, and so all the information for this course, I like to just go to modules. You can certainly, here's the home page. Okay, meet your instructor. This has my information in it. Getting started in the course, just some tips. Review the syllabus and the course schedule. I recommend you take your calendar, or however you keep your schedule, and make sure you have the due dates written in, okay, because there's something that's pretty much due, quite frequently all through the semester, just to help you get to the point of your community health assessment being completed. Okay, and then there's some orientation to Canvas, if you're not familiar with Canvas, for example, and then the clinical activities journal, complete your activities this week and submit on Canvas, and then you're ready to go. So let's go back to, and then announcements. I put a welcome here, but it's important. This is the way that I can reach all of you for information at once, and so please be sure to read your announcements at least once a day. Some of you might have this scheduled to also go to your email, which is great. Okay, but this is the main way I have to contact you all. Okay, syllabus tab, modules tab, which is what I like. So here's the syllabus. And I'll just go over just some certain components. Let me just open it so it's bigger. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so 440 is a COA prerequisite, which means you can take 440 at the same time, but you have to have had 440 before you take this course. Okay, and you'll be drawing upon, and probably using your community health book as well in this course for sources. Okay, course description, these are our standards, intended learning outcomes, which y'all can read through that. methods of grading. So we have 90 total hours of clinical experiences. 24 of those are your service learning. 16 of those are your education outreach. Okay, and it breaks it down here. But students must complete all of the required clinical components and hours to receive a passing grade. So make sure you get all of those done. You can't be short on those. All clinical hours, including optional experiences for which the student has volunteered, are considered part of the course with the same level of responsibility and accountability. Okay, so make sure you complete all the components. There's a point system for this course, even though it's a pass-fail, but students must complete and receive a passing grade on each individual assignment required in the course, as well as achieve 73% of the course points in order to pass the course. So with your assignments that you turn in, you will have the opportunity to have one resubmission if it doesn't make the 73%. Excluding the community assessment paper at the end. You'll only have one opportunity to turn that in due to just the time constraints with that. Okay, there won't be time to resubmit that. Okay, and so here is a breakdown of the hours. Okay, and the 90 hours include doing your evaluation tool, your education outreach. There is a roundtable film discussion that we will have. There's a list of films that to choose from that we'll put out a poll, and we'll just choose a few that were most voted on. Okay, and then you've got your project and report, and your disaster preparedness online modules and trainings, and your journal. Okay. And then again, your discussion board post and syllabus quiz all count for those 90 hours. If you're going to be late, please let me know at least 24 hours prior to the date and time the assignment is due. Don't just not turn something in without notifying me because it's just very important that I know what's going on. And if you need an extension, I mean, I don't have to know specifically what's going on, but if you need an extension, please let me know, and we can work on a different due date, okay? Because I know emergencies come up, people get sick, etc. Okay, orientation, introduction, quiz, okay, which is going to be this first week or so. And then you get 4 clinical hours for that part. Here's some information on the service learning. Please be aware that some agencies require background checks, proof of immunizations, or other requirements for volunteer service. So make sure that those requirements are met. So I know if you want to do some hours with the Red Cross, they have some orientation. I think they might have a background check. So they have some hours required, for example, before you actually get started on your volunteering. So keep that in mind in your time frame for the semester. Okay, and you'll have 10 hours of disaster preparedness training, including online training modules, okay? And those are in the, on the main page, okay? Here are some examples of what qualify to fulfill the remaining 6 hours. So you have 4 hours of modules, and you have 6 hours of other activities for disaster preparedness requirements. You have an education outreach activity, and as these are due, I'll be giving more information. And if you have questions, please feel free to email, text, or call me. That anytime. I mean, that's what we're here for. So sometimes I know there's some things that just need clarification, and that's perfectly expected and okay. So please reach out to me. And my phone number is in the syllabus. So the education outreach is 16 hours in a population health setting. So you can go to school health nursing, public health department. There's some other examples given here. And so you will visit the site and assess the site for their health education and health promotion needs. Okay, this may include talking with a manager, what they think is most needed education for this population, and then you will design an educational flyer or brochure that discuss it, that you'll research, and then put together a brochure incorporating the health needs of that client base, that population. And then you will submit the flyer to Canvas, and that includes not just the flyer, but the 2-page summary of the student's experience at the site. Okay, who you met with, who you talked with, what you identified, what the needs are. Okay, and then once that has been approved by the instructor, then you can share your flyer brochure, because we'll always give feedback. Okay, and so it may need some, changes or formatting or anything. And then once we approve that and changes are made, then you will share your flyer or brochure with the facility so that it can be disseminated to the facility's client base should they choose to use it. Okay, and then here's more information about your journal. Okay, due at the end of each module by Sunday. If you look at that, we'll go to the course outline, and it's not every Sunday that it's due, so it's the end of each module, and the modules are pretty short. Okay, and then there is a community assessment project that's included in the course. Okay, and then there's information on that. That's going to be towards the end, but basically you can work in groups or you can work by yourself. If you work in groups, you need to stay within your section 64 group. It's really difficult when there are people in different sections with different instructors to keep up with everyone. Just keep that in mind. And many people do just work on this singly, but you can do it either way. So you will apply the nursing process, choose a community of interest, identify a PICO question, and there's some PICO information that's on the main module sections. Okay, so it just tells you the steps of what that is going to be, and then there are specific guidelines on Canvas for that. I already mentioned the roundtable discussion, okay, which was 6 clinical hours, and so there will be a choice of a couple of these movies depending on what people vote on. And then the practical evaluation tool. You'll have to fill out an evaluation on yourself and how you met the outcomes, and that's due at the end. So here is a weekly outline, assignment due dates. I really recommend you taking this and putting it in your notebook or putting it on your calendar so you can keep up with the due dates. So you'll see the first activities journal is on the 30th, then the second one the 13th, and then the 27th, so they get a little bit more distanced. Okay. All right, so that is the syllabus, and then so that just gives you kind of an overview of what the course is. And then if you go to the modules, you will find more specific information, like service learning objective and requirements, the disaster preparedness hours, okay, which was also included in the syllabus, okay. And then we've got, the training modules, and then a quiz over those modules, and then information on certain volunteer groups if you choose to do that. Information on your activities journal. Here's a template for it. Please fill it out. Please fill out things on the template in this form, because it gets hard for me to read summaries and paragraphs. So see the date of activity, the site, the learning activity, and then your reflections here. And then this is where you keep your tally of hours, so I can see, and I look at these when they're due. If they're not due on time, just let me know, that when you're going to get them in. If you haven't done any hours for that week, still turn one in and just say no new activity for this week, but my plan is to put in these hours on these days coming up this next week, or something. Just let me know so I know where you're at and see if you might need help getting your hours or ideas for your hours. Okay, so it's a good way for me to keep up with where you're at in that process. Okay, so I think I can, okay, there we go. Go back to modules. Okay. And then this is where you can do multiple submissions, okay, on this one. Information on your community assessment evidence-based project information here. Identification of community, again with the due dates, windshield survey. Again, here's the due dates on when these things are due. Okay, so it's designed to be a step-by-step process, so you don't get bogged down doing everything at once. So definitely all these steps result in the culmination of your final paper. And let's just look at the final paper. So make sure, here's the rubric for the final paper. So make sure you carefully read that. Oh, this is kind of tiny here. Sorry about that. So, but anyway, make sure you carefully read through that rubric. Okay. Let me go back here. Okay. And then roundtable film discussion, which you have to do an initial post, and then you have to respond to your peers. Okay, and so it's 50 points, but you need to definitely. It's hard to get late on the peer response due date, because the whole idea, the whole objective is to have that discussion with your peers. So please make sure you have the due date for your peer discussion component firmly, like written in your calendar, because it's hard. I can't open that one back up. And then here's information on your education outreach flyer, your tool template, place to submit it at the end of the semester. And then here's just some extra resources for you. I know it looks overwhelming because there's so many, components here, but these are just extra resources that might be helpful. And then extra resources for Canvas. Okay, so again, welcome to the course. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will be in contact with you guys. Check your announcements daily, and this will be a great semester. So thank you very much. I look forward to working with all of you.